Okay, so once you describe your project, your idea, then the next is the project management. So project management part mein, you will actually tell the reviewers that how you are going to manage different aspects of your project. So the role of principal investigator is very important in this part. So actually, principal investigator, since he is leading the project, so he will be the main manager of the project. So इसमें मैनेजमेंट में आप डिफरेंट इश्यूज जो हैं उसके बारे में उनको डिस्कस कर सकते हैं जैसे कि एक इशू हो सकता है दैट हाउ you will make sure that all the collaborators they are actually involved in the project at all these stages, and they are motivated at all these stages. Okay, so this is a very important part of the management of your project. So you can write that the principal investigator will make sure that he will conduct regular meetings with the PI, with the co-PIs, with industrial partners, and will try to keep them motivated towards the completion of this project. Okay. At the same time, you can also write in here that how you will manage the procurement, how you will manage the experiments, how you will actually coordinate with your co-PIs, with your industrial partners. So these sort of things you can actually write in your project management part. So these parts are actually not technical. So इसमें आपने just discuss करना है about your skills, of your management skills. So the next is the implementation timeline. So if your project is of 2 years, then just I think you just normally make a Gantt chart and just show the activities which you are going to perform during the duration of your project. So it's important that you actually make different activities which would be performed in different months and start with a very simple activity and then gradually move towards the complex one. So यहाँ पर आपने बताना है कि फर्स्ट ईयर में व्हाट इज योर ऑब्जेक्टिव. आपने अगर कोई आपके पास कोई प्रॉब्लम है जिसमें अगर फॉर एग्जांपल सिमुलेशंस भी इन्वॉल्व हैं, क्या एक्सपेरिमेंट्स भी इन्वॉल्व हैं, then just inform or just explain to them that in the first year you will be doing simulations, you will get a simulation work, you will actually complete the simulation work, and in the parallel you will actually do the procurements for your experiments, and the simulation results then will be used in the next year for the rationalization of your experiments for providing the optimum operational settings for your experiments. So this is how you can actually write down the implementation timeline. So again, I'm repeating that just divide your project in different activities and then write down these activities starting from a simpler one and then just moving on towards the accomplishment of your project results. तो इसमें आपके पास HEC का जो फॉर्म है उसमें दो पार्ट्स हैं. एक तो सिंपल टेबल है जिसमें आपने अपनी एक्टिविटीज को लिखना है और उसके बाद फिर एक Gantt chart है which is required in these proposals. So you are supposed to make a Gantt chart as well. Then physical resources and facilities. तो physical resources and facilities में आपने दो चीज़ों को address करना है. So first one is the physical resources and facilities which are already existing in the PI and co-PI institutes. So physical resources and facilities में आपके पास not necessarily equipments, अगर आपके पास projects related equipment नहीं है कोई भी इस वक्त तो यहाँ पर उसमें obviously आप नहीं लिखेंगे, but physical resources and facilities is a very broad term. So even the lab space which you have in your institution is a physical resource and facility that you have. So you can write down that our institution they have the office space available or the lab space is available. We have computers available. We can actually share data very easily. Projects are available. and we have the workshops that are available. So you can actually write whatever, even very small things that would be involved in your project. Okay, and you can also write down that you will have the support from the administrative officers. So that is also a resource that you can use in your project. Okay, so so important is that you have to write the physical resources and facilities of both PIs and co-PIs. ठीक है, तो अगर आपके दो institutions involved हैं तो just आप heading दें जी, for example institution A, these facilities are available, institution B, these facilities are available. और फिर यहाँ पर ना सिर्फ आपने you are supposed to discuss the physical resources and facilities that are available with you, but briefly you will also need to discuss what are the physical resources and facilities which you need in this project. तो वहाँ पर यहाँ पर it's important to discuss not all the equipments, but you should discuss the major equipment that is required in your project. Okay, तो यहाँ पर आप 3-4 जो आपके major equipments हैं जो कि आपको required हैं, just write down those equipments here, or you should also just write down the estimated or guess cost of those equipments as well. So I think HEC just want to see that what you have and what you are actually asking for. So they just want to have a comparison with that. So first part, just write down the facilities which are available, and the second part, just write down the equipment and, that you actually require for the accomplishment or for the completion of your project. So so the project weaknesses at launch. So this is a very interesting heading or section. So this section HEC has included, I think in this application, the previous applications, this section was not there. So ये बड़ा ही interesting सा section है. इसमें you yourself have to spot what are the weaknesses you have in your group, or if you have the collaborators also, but still there remain some weaknesses. तो आपने उन weaknesses को highlight करना है. और फिर जैसे कि for example, I will try to give you an example. जैसे आपने project करना है और you need some sort of expertise at the start. Suppose you need to do some simulation at the start, but you have a capacity building issues or the capacity issues. Maybe all the students or every student in your project or who is involved in your project is not very expert in the use of certain equipment or for the use of certain simulation software. So you can actually write down that, okay, this is the weakness at the start of your project. We think that we are not that much expert in utilization of certain equipment or using certain software, but आपने साथ में ये भी बता देना that how you will overcome that weakness. Okay, और फिर आप बता दें कि okay, we have this weakness, we understand this, but we also have the remedy for it. And what would be the remedy for it? That we are planning to have some training session with a certain expert who is at institution B or whatever is the institution. We will try to engage him for a short period of time and to develop our expertise. Okay, so just try to frame what is your weakness, and उसके साथ साथ आप अपनी weakness को overcome करने के लिए जो भी आपका तरीक़ाकार है वो भी आप साथ साथ बता दें. ठीक है, और ट्राई ऐसे करें कि आप weaknesses भी आपकी ऐसी लग रही हो जैसे कि वो आपकी strengths हैं. ठीक है, तो इस तरह की चीजें आपने इसमें डिस्कस करें. So it's more of a philosophical things you can actually discuss here, not more of a technical things are included here. तो आपने खुद ही अपनी weaknesses को बताना है और फिर उनको ओवरकम करने के लिए जो रेमेडियल एक्शंस आप करेंगे वो भी आपने यहाँ पे डिस्कस कर लेना है. So risk management strategy. So this is another part. So this part again, this is again the self-evaluation of your project. 10 was also a self-evaluation of your project. You read out your project and you self-assess that what are the weaknesses, and then you actually give a plan that how you will overcome those weaknesses. So 11 is also related to part section 10 in some ways, that in here also you will be doing the self-assessment, and yourself will be highlighting the different risks that could arise in the implementation of your project. और फिर आपने उसकी mitigation जो strategy है, what is the mitigation strategy you will or what is the strategy which you will adopt for the mitigation of such risks. तो आप के जो प्रोजेक्ट में डिफरेंट रिस्क्स जो है वो इन्वॉल्व हो सकते हैं. तो रिस्क्स कैन बी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव इन नेचर, दोज रिस्क्स कैन बी टेक्निकल इन नेचर. सो अगर इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिस्क्स, तो सबसे जो इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है आपके प्रोजेक्ट में इट इज़ दी procurement process. So procurement process can actually have some delays. So this is one of the risks that can arise. So you can just write down that there is a risk. There may be some, there is a risk, administrative risk, and the risk is that we may encounter certain delays in the procurement of our equipment. And then what strategy would you are going to adopt to mitigate such risks? तो आप लिख सकते हैं कि ये possibility है कि procurement process में delay आए, इसलिए इसको encounter करने के लिए हम क्या करेंगे कि we will try to take quotations and we will try to order our project well before our required time. तो हम थोड़ा सा अलाउंस रख लेंगे. हम अगर ऑर्डर हमें या हमने जो एक्सपेरिमेंट 2 महीने बाद परफॉर्म करना है, उसके लिए जो इक्विपमेंट है वो हम 2 महीने पहले ही उसको ऑर्डर कर देंगे, ताकि वो कुछ डिलेज भी आती हैं तो वो ओवरकम हो जाए. तो हमको थोड़ा बहुत अलाउंस रख लेंगे. तो इस तरह की आपने कुछ रिस्क्स खुद ही आपने असेस करने और फिर खुद ही उनका सोल्यूशन भी आपने प्रेजेंट कर लेना. और इस तरह से एक टेक्निकल रिस्क भी हो सकता है, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आपके प्रोजेक्ट में कुछ सेफ्टी इश्यूज हैं. सो इफ यू हैव एन इक्विपमेंट, यू हैव purchased an equipment, then you can just write down that there are certain safety issues which are related or which can arise when students will actually perform experiments on this particular equipment. So there's a risk, that is safety risk, that is involved. तो आपने इसको पहले हाईलाइट कर लिया और फिर उसका आपने रेमेडियल एक्शन भी बता देना है कि to actually mitigate this risk, we will train the students how to handle this equipment. Okay, तो आपने पहले रिस्क बताया कि इसमें सेफ्टी रिस्क है, ये सेफ्टी इशू है, लेकिन उसको हम ओवरकम करने के लिए हम पहले ही स्टूडेंट्स को उस इक्विपमेंट के हवाले से कुछ ट्रेनिंग देंगे. So these things you can actually write down in section 11. So in section 12, you can write down the grants which you have availed in the past as a principal investigator, and in 13 you will write down the references. Or references may actually you can also write down, or you also can give the website or address of your profile, of your research profile. So सबसे पहले तो आपके जो एकेडमिक कोलैबोरेटर का सेक्शन 4 है, जिसपे आपने अपनी एक्सपर्टीज के बारे में लिखना है, आप वहाँ पर अब सारी एक्सपर्टीज या अपनी रिसर्च सारी तो वहाँ पे नहीं लिख सकते, तो आपने उसको 4 और 5 लाइंस पे ही उसको आप रखें, बट जस्ट गिव अ रेफरेंस ऑफ योर प्रोफाइल विच मे बी अवेलेबल ऑन वेबसाइट समवेयर. और जिस तरह आप रेफरेंसेस लिखते हैं, जस्ट राइट डाउन वन और जस्ट गिव अ रेफरेंस टू योर प्रोफाइल. और फिर वो प्रोफाइल आपकी रिसर्च गेट की प्रोफाइल हो सकती है या कोई और प्रोफाइल हो सकती है that is available on the internet, and then just cite it in the references. So that would be or that will give the reviewer a chance that if he reads your 3 or 4 lines of your of your expertise, and if he is interested to dig out more, then he can just simply see the reference, and the reference he can actually see the link of your profile that is available on the internet somewhere, and he just can easily assess that or access that link, and your profile can be visible to him. तो आप अपने जो आपकी जो प्रोफाइल्स हैं इंटरनेट पे उसको भी आप रेफरेंसेस में डाल सकते हैं, और ट्राई टू इंक्लूड मैक्सिमम पेपर्स जो आपके इस प्रोजेक्ट से रिलेटेड हैं, because the reviewers would be interested to see how much previous knowledge you have in this subject area. तो अगर आपका प्रीवियस नॉलेज है या प्रीवियसली आपने इस रिसर्च एरिया में काम किया हुआ है, तो आपको उसके पेपर्स को लाजमी साइट करना है अपने प्रपोजल में, और दैट एक्चुअली इंक्रीजेस द चांसेस ऑफ एक्सेप्टेंस. तो रिव्यूअर्स जब देखते हैं कि ऑलरेडी प्रोफाइल में ये पब्लिकेशंस आ रही हैं और ये ऑलरेडी काम किया हुआ है इस पर, तो आपके चांसेस जो हैं वो एक्सेप्टेंस के बढ़ जाते हैं. बट इफ़ यू आर इन सम न्यू एरियाज where you do not have any expertise, तो फिर reviewers थोड़े से reluctant होते हैं कि you should first try to build up your expertise in that particular area, and then you will be able to, or you should be writing some research grants. अच्छा, एक important चीज़ बड़ी है NRPU proposal template में या proposal writing में, कि अगर आपके पास कोई idea है तो just don't wait for the grants. अगर आपके पास idea है and if you can do some work on it, then please do work on it. और उसके कुछ ना कुछ results अगर आपके पास हैं, preliminary results, और अगर वो preliminary results आप अपने NRPU proposal में डालते हैं project description में, तो आपके chances acceptance के काफ़ी बढ़ सकते हैं. तो इट्स हाई इनकरेज्ड कि अगर आपका आइडिया है आपके पास और आपने उस पर कोई प्रिलिमिनरी काम भी किया हुआ है, यू शुड पुट योर प्रिलिमिनरी रिजल्ट्स इन द प्रोजेक्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन पार्ट. और उससे रिव्यूअर्स को ये थोड़ा अंदाज़ा होगा कि ओके, दे हैव ऑलरेडी डन समथिंग ऑन दिस प्रोजेक्ट, सो दे आर मोर लाइकली टू एक्चुअली अचीव द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स व्हिच दे हैव मेंशन्ड ओवर हियर. सो आपकी जो एक रिलायबिलिटी है रिव्यूअर की नज़र में वो बढ़ जाती है. सो प्लीज, इफ यू हैव सम प्रिलिमिनरी रिजल्ट्स, then write them in the project description part. Our main focus today would be the project budget, which is actually a very important part of any proposal. So I will mostly be covering this aspect.